Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, intertubes, wherever you are watching this video. Today I would like to talk about um, perennial abscess injury due to cycling, in my case, mountain biking. I've researched this issue throughout YouTube and the internet, and there's not much talk about having this perennial abscess happen to cyclists or happen due to cycling. Um, in my case, I am a mountain biker. I spend about 2.5 to 3 hours on a saddle um, every weekend, once a day in the weekend, and I've been struggling with a saddle sore um, from the very beginning of my cycling career or cycling experience from the beginning. I guess I have a certain type of seat bone and lower region shape that does not agree with majority of the saddles that are out there in the market. I've personally tried and used many saddles myself, and I tend to rotate saddles every 6 to 7 or 8 months. Even having a saddle that feels comfortable in the beginning will eventually lead to a um, hurt in my groin area, specifically between the anus and scrotum. The void area and the soft tissue area where men have, um, in the woman's case, it's where their private part is at, right? So anyway, full disclaimer, I am not a medical person. I'm not a very intelligent person, as you can see the way I talk. Um, I'm just a regular guy, and I have no medical background, and I don't claim to want to pinpoint what I'm talking about today 100% to cycling, but in my case, I do feel that it is due to cycling. We're talking about experiencing perennial abscess due to cycling. Um, for me, in my case, I never knew that I had perennial abscess simply due to the fact that my body fights internal injuries fairly well. I think I heal and I rejuvenate tissue quite quickly, and I guess I have always had a internal tissue tear in my groin region. So I just want to shed some light where no light goes, right? In pun intended. Again, specifically between the anus and the scrotum. I have always thought that I am experiencing saddle sore or hemorrhoids, which is very commonly related to cycling injuries. Um, but in my case, it has always been a perennial a tear in the tissue, which cannot be detected on the epidermis, which is the outermost layer of the skin. If you look at it physically, you will never see a tear or rip or bleeding, or even chafing of skin. I do not experience having friction in my riding pants, and I do not have blisters or loss of skin due to cycling, but I do have internal pain beyond the outer layer of the skin occasionally after 6 or 7 months of using a certain saddle. And that said saddle can be any saddle, which I find very comfortable in the first 5 to 6 months. I will start to experience a slight swelling, a development of a ball, a ballooning of the inner layer of the skin between the anus and the scrotum, which I initially thought was a ballooning of vein. Maybe I rupture a vein, or I broke a blood vessel or something. Because I'm not a doctor, I don't know what is going on, but I occasionally will feel that after using a saddle for 7 or 8 months, and I will for the most part heal within the week of experiencing that. Um, I will cycle on a Saturday and I will feel soreness between my anus and my scrotum by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, I will start to feel much better. I will probably not feel any pain anymore. Hence, I will go back into cycling on Saturday or Sunday again. And then the process repeats, and that is when I know I need to change my saddle up. So, as I said, every 7 to 8 months, I will always be shopping for a different saddle, and so far, the only saddle that I have actually come across, which helps me a lot, are the saddles with a void in the middle, a hole in the middle, namely the SMP saddles, SMP hybrid and SMP. So far, I've been using SMP hybrid, and that has helped me a lot. My previous saddle that gave me my most severe peranial abscess, um, which I'm going to talk about now. The saddle that I was using prior to receiving peranial abscess surgery, which caused me having to go into the hospital to cut my skin open and remove all the pus, was a SDG saddle, which I used for about 7 months. Peranial abscess is what is it? It's actually a infection of your tissue, where white blood cells and bacteria has died and then become pus, and the pus will accumulate, and as your body loses the battle with the infection, the pus will accumulate and grow and become more, and this will create a swelling of the area of where you're having an abscess. In my case, at the perineal area between the anus and the scrotum, and a ballooning of that area will happen when it is beyond control, and eventually that balloon will burst, resulting in pus coming out of that area. Your skin actually ruptures and then pus comes out. This is exactly what had happened to me 6 weeks ago, and this has led me to having to go into the hospital to seek surgery. They had to open up the area, remove all the pus physically, and then leave the exposed area open, to prevent creation of further infection and a cavity when as the wound heals faster on the outside, and then this will create a reoccurrence of a perineal abscess. So 6 weeks later, I have been advised against cycling because, for obvious reasons, I have an opening in my skin in that area, in the region of where we're talking about, and it's a very painful and an experience that I do not wish onto anybody. Painful and uncomfortable experience. I think a perineal abscess injury due to cycling is should happen more often, more commonly than we think it does, and I'm sure it happens to motorcyclists as well. People who spend a lot of time, dispatch people, Grab riders who ride for hours on ends, can experience this, as we will never know when we have a tear in the tissue beyond our external layer of skin, and we do not know that our body is actually fighting and trying to mend that tear. And when our body loses the battle in trying to fix that tear internally, an abscess actually happens, and pus will accumulate, and it will start to swell, and it's a very painful experience. And that is when you will have to lance the swelled up ballooned area to remove the pus, and you probably cannot stitch it up. You have to leave the wound open to prevent it from sealing from the outside faster than on the inside. The peranial abscess creates a void, a big hole inside the skin, which will have to be healed and filled up by tissue from the inside out. And that is what I am going through right now. I'm waiting for my wound to heal from the inside out so that I can return back into cycling. But hopefully this SMP saddle, which I've always used for a long time, was just itchy backside, and got another saddle and tried it, and I thought it was comfortable, so I went ahead and used it. Big mistake. Shouldn't use it. I should not deviate from SMP saddles. SMP saddles work for me. I hope everyone should try and figure out which saddle works for them. SMP saddles work for me, so I'm gonna maintain that on my bike. Here's how my SMP saddle looks. It's really worn, and that was why I switched it up when I got this new bike. Here, this is my SMP saddle. Saddles with this hole actually helps me a lot, prevents me from having pressure in my lower region, and this this worn out old trusty saddle is actually the saddle that I need to always use. So I'll stick to this. I'll continue buying SMP saddles even after this one's gone. This is an SMP hybrid for anybody who's interested. Yeah, it's suitable for road as well as mountain bike use. So I hope this video helps people shed light in an area where nobody discusses and nobody talks about this peranial abscess due to cycling. I hope this helps. So I'm only gonna be back on the bike next week, maybe on the 7th week after surgery, and I miss it. I miss riding so badly. I hope this goes away and goes away forever. Reoccurrence happens, but I hope it doesn't reoccur to me. Alright, thanks. Next video will be an update on my Stump Jumper Evo Alloy 2022 with 12-speed rear cassette upgrade, and I'll let you know after I go for a ride. Thanks, bye.